Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. How you guys doing? Oh my goodness, I don't have my windows prepped or anything. Terrible. I was just hanging out with Lady Rackets, passed out a little bit, went to sleep for a minute, woke up and was like, oh my, I gotta go. Oh my, I gotta get to this show. And then as I'm getting my stuff together for the show, which we're gonna cover in just a second, I'm sitting there and I check my Twitter. I check my Twitter because I have this bad habit of checking Twitter. Shouldn't do that. And I see people are being real weird about this Miss Universe thing. Real weird. I don't know if you guys saw. I mean, Miss Universe actually ended up not being, I guess, the biggest disappointment. The winner or whatever is like a woman who is relatively attractive. There's a thing with Miss Universe. It's like she's supposed to be like, you know, like the top. And I don't mean like the top. I mean like, you know, the top 1%. Like it's a beauty pageant. And I know there are people out there like, well, different people are attracted to different things. That's fine. You can want to have sex with a barn if you want. That doesn't mean that the top 1% of beauty for women should be a barn just because you want to bang one. That's all. That's all. With that, I'm not going to spend too much time. We may, as this whiskey review goes in, we may get into that a little bit later in the show. Because it's I don't know, it always weirds me out. I don't get it. Our incessant need for to like change hotness to be not hot is weird. We be getting the Alex Jones game. No. Well, no, I don't know. Maybe I hadn't even heard of it. But is that a comb over? Yes, it is. I'm bald. I've been lying to you guys forever. Very bald. Don't have any hair left. So here's what we're gonna do tonight, guys. I went to my liquor store, and my the owner, my dude. I don't know if he's my dude, but I call him my dude because I think that's offensive to people older than me and my age and younger. He is a great fan of bourbon. So we have nice little chats on occasion when I see him. And he happens to sometimes get bottles of whiskey that are not as easy to find around here. The other stores don't get them. And it's really nice to have someone who cares about the product that you also care about, right? Which is why, like, I don't have a comic book shop or whatever. Just kidding. That's a joke about Miles Morales that we're going to talk about later. So much Twitter. He got some rare bottles for the holiday season. I picked up 2 of them. I got one of them that is right in Joe Biden's age range, and one of them that is too old for Vito. And so here's the Vito one. We're not going to do this one tonight. This is a Knob Creek, aged 18 years. This is 100 proof. I've never had an 18-year Knob Creek before. I'm guessing it's really good, but maybe not. But this is not for tonight. This is not for tonight. Tonight is, as I mentioned, this is an 8-year Willet, which means you can't even see it because the writing on the bottle is very golden. Doesn't get picked up by the camera very well. It's an 8-year Willet. Comes pre-sniffed by Biden. And this Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey is unchill filtered to maintain its original character. That's all it says. There's no commentary on it at all. So we're going to do a whiskey review of this. I've been very remiss in doing whiskey review streams. Lately I've been, I'll drink whiskey, but I wouldn't do the reviews which is something I used to do a lot more. Try a new whiskey, review it, give kind of an honest take on it, and see what it's like. So we're going to do that today. And I imagine this is going to be delicious. But we'll see. We'll see. In whiskey news, I don't know if you guys saw, the most expensive bottle of whiskey was sold at auction just the other day. It fetched something like 2.6 million euros or pounds or something. It's a 60-year Macallan special edition that was not available for sale. You had to be like a Macallan client. And that's I can't imagine spending that much on a bottle of whiskey. Like, I can imagine spending a decent amount on a special occasion bottle. I really can. I can imagine spending maybe like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, something like that on a very special occasion bottle for like, I can't even think of what it would be. Like I don't know. I've never spent that much on a bottle of whiskey. So I don't know. The expensive, for me, bottles of whiskey that I buy have topped out around the $400 range. The most expensive bottle I ever bought was $534 for Lady Ragged's birthday in March of 2019. We drank it on stream. It was a fun show, but that's the most expensive bottle I ever bought. It was a Dalwhinnie 25-year Distiller's Edition. I have the box up there still. I have the bottle as well. This bottle of Willet's about $230. So this is an expensive bottle to me. Just because I like expensive whiskeys does not mean I buy very expensive whiskey all the time. The Whistle Pigs are like $450 a bottle when they're new. And I've never bought a non-new Whistle Pig. So again, that's kind of like the top end of what I will buy. And those are pretty rare. But I could imagine spending, $1,000 or $1,500 on a bottle like your friend gets. I don't even know. I don't know. Lives through some horrific disease, maybe. So you buy whiskey to kill him. I'm not sure. But yeah, I can't imagine spending anywhere near like $2 million on a bottle of whiskey because I'm going to drink it. I'm not going to keep it. I don't get it. So I buy whiskey to drink. I don't buy it to like sit around. That being said, yeah, last week ended up being a disaster on Thursday and Friday. Friday was my son's birthday, which is awesome. He had a birthday party. And it was going to be a two-person, like two of his friends came over to hang out for the night or whatever, and that was fine. But then all of a sudden we had a bunch of family at the last minute coming over, and I spent all day running around, getting things ready, getting the house ready, cooking. By the end of the day, I felt absolutely terrible and actually felt pretty sick and just went to bed. I went to bed at like 10, right after I posted that I wasn't doing a show. So I do apologize. I could not do it. I slept for like 14 hours. I talked about this yesterday on the movie stream, but it was bad. But the good news is for me, I don't know, you guys probably don't care. My voice is better than it has been. It was kind of recovering last week, and now it's pretty good after that long sleep. All right. Not gonna. Richard Cranium says, drank it on stream. If you do whiskey reviews, you get to write off your alcohol as tax deductible business expense. Just like, I think you can. I don't. Probably should. Frederick Little, Thanksgiving cooking stream. Maybe. Not sure about that. So yeah, the 14 hours of sleep. Real quick, I said this yesterday. I'll say it again because people always say the same thing. They're like, oh, that sounds awesome. It's not. If you have narcolepsy and you sleep that long, you feel, well, for me, I feel fucking terrible. It is never good. For me, the sweet spot on sleep is about 6 hours, maybe approaching 8. If I get past 8 hours of sleep, I start to feel real, real bad. Not a big fan of it. It's horrible to me. So if I'm sleeping that long, it's not. And I had most of Saturday was kind of terrible for that reason too. I woke up feeling nasty. Saturday ended up being good at the end of the day. I think I went on Camelot for just a little bit. And I was going to do a movie night late Saturday night, but then one of my kids had an issue in the middle of the night and I couldn't. So, Savage Gerbil says alcohol actually does play a pretty substantial role in your show. Yeah, no, I know. I just don't do it. Like I probably should, but I'd have to keep all the receipts and keep track of it and all that stuff. And that's like, it's like a lot of work. All right. We're going to do this risky review. That's for the Japanese one over there. We're going to do this whiskey review. And then we're going to go into the main top. Well, the whiskey review kind of goes on for a while as we go through some of the main topics. But we're going to get into the main topics tonight. And look, I know people not always a big fan of Trump stuff, but again, I'm going to keep reporting on the Trump lawsuits and the Trump issues that are changing and making law right now. And Trump's victory over the Colorado attempt to keep him off the ballot is more important, in my opinion, than the Minnesota victory, keeping him off the ballot, or in his Minnesota victory of keeping him on the ballot, I guess, because this one gets a little bit more clearly worded about the 14th Amendment. It'll harken back to what I've been talking about the 14th Amendment. I'm going to talk about why I'm always right was in the description. It's tongue in cheek, but some of these issues that I keep being right on, this and the gag order, which we're going to talk about as well, are not complicated issues. That's why I put that in there. They're not complicated issues. They're only complicated because people want them to apply to Trump because their principles go out the door with Donald Trump. He offends them so fucking much. He is so angry, or that he has made them so angry that they cannot possibly, even like very good lawyers, reasonable people, they become unreasonable in the face of Donald Trump for whatever reason. And it makes their analysis very, very tricky. But these are basic principles of the First Amendment. It's basic reading skills on the 14th Amendment, and then the context of how the 14th Amendment has not been applied against a president since it was implemented, despite the ease of suggesting that some president engaged in some way in insurrection and language similar to that throughout the years. I mean, this political animus between the parties is not new, or between candidates. It's not a new thing to see that. So to have this kind of stuff coming up, and what we see constantly are people missing the question, the initial basic law school questions. Because it's Trump, they just skip step one. The reason I end up being right on these things is not because I'm particularly bright or brilliant or experienced or anything. It's because the basics, when you apply the basics to the question, we go, if this were not Trump, what would we do? And we come to the answers. And the answers are pretty obvious at that point, but so many people cannot do that. So we're going to talk about Trump's victory in Colorado. We're going to talk about the gag order issues that he's had in his cases. We're going to talk about fights over the gag orders as we're going. And then we're going to move away from Trump and onto the Voting Rights Act, which is this really weird conflict between, I think it's Arkansas and their efforts to gerrymander a bunch of districts in favor of Republicans. And make no mistake, that's of course what they're doing. That is what you get to do. Every state has this provision effectively that you get to redraw districts in favor of your own party when you're in the majority to try and preserve that majority. I don't know why they have that, but they just do. Well, the Voting Rights Act has these rules in them that try to constrain a state's rights to control how it chooses its own people, which is weird because that is a massive infringement on states' rights. And I know it's because South was a low racist back in the day, so was the North, but the South was worse because they owned black people instead of just hating them. So that makes them racist today automatically, and it makes their efforts to redistrict in favor of their political demographics automatically be a racial redistricting. And the fun part about it is that this has gone to the Supreme Court, and the Arkansas Republicans just keep losing, and they just keep going, fuck you, though. And I love that. That's so funny to me It's the funniest part because we always just go, well, the Supreme Court's going to say something. It's like, and when they do, Arkansas just goes, all right, okay, fine, say it all day. We don't give a shit. And then they just do something else that does not do what the Supreme Court wants. And they keep having to go back over and over and over. And it's, and we're getting to the question of how can this even work? Like, how can this system work when anybody just says no, it starts to break down. And no is the most powerful word in the English language. I hope everybody knows that. But this will be a great time to figure that, like, to just have that reinforced. So we're going to cover that. We may briefly talk about the fights Elon Musk is suing Media Matters. Twitter, I should say, is suing Media Matters. We may talk about that briefly. We're not going through the Media Matters Twitter complaint today. We may do that later this week. I might bring on a friend to talk about it. We'll figure that out. But that dropped earlier today, and that's great. And at the same time, Texas Attorney General, who they tried to throw out, Ken Paxton, he is launching an investigation into Media Matters for fraudulent activity as well. It turns out Media Matters lies about a bunch of shit. I'm not sure, like, I don't know if people didn't know that, but they do. They've long been a problem because they're highly biased and highly in favor of lying in a specific intention to cause harm to people, which is supposed to be a problem, but because Media Matter does it, it's fine. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit. As I said before, as the whiskey review goes on, we'll probably make fun of this Miss Universe chick a little bit, just because it seems to make people mad, and that's okay. Everybody should get mad at some point or another. Particularly, everybody should get mad at me. That should happen. It usually does, but we'll force it. And then we might talk about Miles Morales, who's not Spider-Man. Oh shit. Zakiriel says Kyle Rittenhouse's book Acquitted has come out and hoes are mad. Yes. We got to find this real quick because I've got a promo code for you guys from Kyle. Let's get his book. Where the hell is his book? Book. Where the hell is his book? Google Books. Where can I buy this thing? He didn't tell me where to buy it. Kyle Rittenhouse's new book, Acquitted as a Killer, from John Pavlovitz. That's not a great pun. How long will the code be active? I don't know. I got to find out where the book is. I'm going to try and get him on, I think next week to, we're going to do I don't know how long of an interview we're going to do, but we'll do a little bit of an interview. He can talk about the book and stuff like that, and we'll help promote it here. I know a lot of you guys are fans of Kyle and definitely want to. Where the fuck? Oh my God. Of course, no one has. Oh, here we go. Acquitted by Kyle Rittenhouse. Here we go. I got the, I'm going to put the thing in the description on both channels here real quick. By Kyle. Book. Promo code Rakeda. I think. Let me double check that. Hey, new apartment? Great. Hope it's working well for you. Let me double check that I got the right thing here. Yeah, promo code is Rakeda for 10% off. Just normal. Looks like he's got the, yep, spelling is correct. So I'm adding that to the descriptions on YouTube and Rumble. Save. That's on YouTube. Let me change the one on Rumble now. So, guys, go support your boy Kyle Rittenhouse. Look, he's still facing these lawsuits. He still has massive costs. And this, the book, part of the books, while the book sales, I mean, he's got to find a way to fund his life. And this is a great way to do it. So this is, here we go. Let's share this screen. The link is here. There's that. I'm going to post this in both chats as well. Sorry, guys. I was not prepared for this. There we go. Now let me get back to my everything. Okay. So here's Kyle's book order page. The link is in the chats. It's in the descriptions. Use promo code Ricada to get this book. And it's here it is. So it says, coming to a bookstore near you. I never wanted to be a public figure. I was homeless as a small child and raised in government subsidized housing. My goal was to be a cop or a paramedic. I went to Kenosha to help my community, not become a whipping boy in the national debate. In less than 3 minutes, the direction of my life was horribly altered when I was forced to defend myself with deadly force. So much was said and written about me that was not true. Now, for the first time, I want to tell my story. My name is Kyle Rittenhouse. I was attacked. I defended myself. I was prosecuted. I was acquitted. Acquitted by Kyle Rittenhouse. That's a good line there at the end. I was attacked. I defended myself. I was prosecuted. I was acquitted. Great. Great stuff. Guys, make sure you check that out. Welcome to the Camelot Raid. How you guys doing? Thanks for joining me. But yeah, buy Kyle's book. Promo code Ricada. Get yourself 10% off on that. He's a good dude. It's a good dude, got thrust into a situation no one should ever have to face. And, he's got life to do with this. But yeah, hopefully next week we'll get him on for an interview about the book a little bit and see what's going on in his life. There's so much going on, man. We got to talk a little bit later about the CEO of Rumble and his comments about the Twitter lawsuit. Tomorrow, AV to the seventh power is coming on. AV is awesome. I like her very much. You may have seen her if you watch Lead Attorney. She's on with him quite a bit. If you came to my Las Vegas show, you may have met AV. She was there as well. She's going to be on. We are going to be talking about the Diddy lawsuit. Cassie sues Diddy, and he settles it for somewhere north of $10 million, apparently, really quickly. The lawsuit is salacious and scandalous and wonderful, and we got to figure out what's going on with the black people. And so Avi's going to help me do that tomorrow. So come for that interview. It should be a lot of fun. All right, here we go. We're doing this whiskey review now. We're in it. So the first step of the whiskey review, it's a Willet. It's aged 8 years. It is 54% alcohol by volume. This is a straight bourbon whiskey, not a gay bourbon whiskey, distilled from a mixture of corn, wheat, and malted barley. It's from Willet Distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky. So this is a bourbon. We got the 4 steps of drinking. Just follow along, baby girl. Smells really good. Not a heavy alcohol smell. I don't have to clear out the glass or anything. Got a little on my lips. I don't identify smells very well. Like, I can identify smells, but I can't tell you what that is. It's bourbony. That's probably the corn, the oak coming through. It's got a little sweetness to it. Okay. Very smooth on the way down, but a little fiery aftermath. The tongue is tingling, burning. Throat does not have any burn in it. Giggity. So that's great. All of that sort of fire is concentrated up in the mouth. The flavor is very good. It is very bourbony, lots of corn coming through. So it's not going to taste the same as a rye or a regular whiskey, so to speak. You're going to taste the corn flavor quite a bit. Not super woody from the oak, which is fine. But yeah, heavy on the corn, kind of sweet. I like it. Little bit of burn, not bad. Going down the throat though, nothing. This is not a hard whiskey to drink. It's very easy. Man, that's good. Okay. Yeah, again, all of the fiery, tingly numbness and shit that happens up in the mouth. None of that's down in the throat at all. Very good. Shagsworth, that is a Willet 8-year. Willet 8-year bourbon. Very good. All right. We'll keep going with the whiskey review as we go, but we're going to get into the topics. So the way I do the whiskey reviews is I do this first one, taking that slow kind of deliberate process. It's 4 steps. I'm not going to talk about it every time to kind of get the different feels of the whiskey. I'll finish this shot in a little while. I'll do a shot of it straight through, and that'll be great. Get a completely different experience. I'm not a big fan of shooting whiskey, but take a shot of the whiskey, see how it goes down. And then after that's kind of settled down, do a third one where you just drink it like normal, but you've already had 2 glasses of whiskey and you're probably a little bit more in love with it by then. All right. So there we go. All right. We're going to go into this Colorado issues with Trump and how this works out. Let me find. So we're going to go through the news reporting on the ruling in Colorado, but then we've got some commentary because this is a massive cope that's going on from people. This is a great ruling for Trump, but you've got really, really terrible people out there who are going to say, no, this is actually a really bad ruling for Trump, which is stupid. But this ruling is correct, and that's the most important part of it. We'll talk about also why they're wrong on it being a bad ruling. But first, let's get into this. So Colorado judge rejects bid to keep Trump off the state's 2024 ballot. Now, like in Minnesota, this was an attempt to keep him off the primary ballot, but Colorado's judge here did not actually approach this in the same way. What the fuck is that? Go away. Did not approach this the same way. In Minnesota, the Supreme Court effectively said that they could not keep Trump off a primary ballot because of the way the state's law is written about Trump being on the primary. They believe that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to the primary process because there's nothing that prevents a party who participates in the party system that would have them on the primary ballot. There's nothing that prevents a party from having a candidate, even if they're not legally able to serve as president, put on a primary ballot. Like, no, people can elect whoever they want to sit as a primary. That says nothing about whether or not they can run for president on a general ballot. So that issue is not ripe in Minnesota. That is not what the judge found here. Different laws, different rulings. And that's what makes this one a little more interesting. Michael Burke, is the iOS YouTube app lying, or have you been streaming for an hour, just jumped in? No, I've been streaming for 29 minutes. Fagan's Law, First Amendment, baby. Keep spreading that constitutional gospel, counselor. Thank you, Fagan's Law. Dude, we got to get you on the show soon. I've been lax in doing that, but we'll do that. Very, very happy to have you. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Kevin Hunts says, why did the Jews and the ADL have a problem with heroes? Was Hitler right for fighting the deep state? Thank you, Kevin Hunts, for that question. First of all, I don't know if the Jews and the ADL, I'm not aware of their problem with heroes. I know that the ADL is, look, a lot of organizations can get started for a purpose, whether it's a good purpose or bad purpose, and then go into bloat mode where they have to justify their existence by pontificating and maybe spreading their mission mantra, whatever, where it doesn't belong. The ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the NAACP, even shit like many of the unions that are out there. A lot of these places started from a spot, grew powerful, and then had to keep their power, keep their money, and keep their purpose. And they did so eventually by going after people that they have no business commenting on. And the problem is, because of their sort of legacy status as to their organizational capacity, they get a false sense of, or a false boost in credibility and purpose as a commentary class. I mean, this is what's going on with legacy media as well, and even with groups like Media Matters. I mean, they get this thing there where they start and then it grows, and then because they've been around for a while, people think they have to listen to them, which is not a true thing at all. But yeah, the thing I know about the ADL is they can suck my fucking balls. Other than that, was Hitler right for fighting the deep state? Look, not everyone is wrong all of the time. His methods may have been a tad extreme. It may have been a tad extreme. History will be the judge of the young Adolf Hitler and the choices he made, I suppose. Oh my God. But look, well, we can say this, like, that's funny, but we can actually say this in a serious way. When you allow in representative government, when you allow governmental interests that run against representation take root and take power, and similarly, when you allow the government to shirk its responsibilities and duties onto non-elected, non-appointed, and non-accountable non-government third parties, and when you merely allow third parties to start engaging in convenient acts of governance and government, and the government abuses that and takes that and runs with it and does not tamp down on the realms where it should have its limited authority, you will get the Hitlers of the world. You will get that. You will get populist, how do I put this? You'll get populist uprisings. You will find controversial popular leaders utilizing the tools of government that do exist to rail against the ills society complains about. If they have proper propaganda and authority and a limited ability to be challenged by the public, by the proper media, by the independent commentary community, you will find an echo chamber that is reinforced and insulated by bullets, by government bullets. And you will find people who will take that and who will turn it into whatever purpose they want. The problem does become when they utilize a moral purpose to commit immoral atrocity, obviously. And frankly, almost all acts of governments are immoral atrocity when you get down to it. That's the scary thing about government and why it needs to be so limited. You hope to live in a system where a Hitler cannot occur. The most terrifying thing is realizing that a Hitler can occur in any system in 2023. There's not a single one that can stop them. No matter what moral position they take, no matter what underclass they choose to deride and demonize, no matter where they direct their violence, you will find that a Hitler for any target can raise in any situation, in any circumstance, and any current civilization and government in the world in 2023. None of us are prepared to stop that level of violence, hatred, power, and propaganda. Yo Pop says, or a Stalin. Yeah, I mean, a Stalin, a Pol Pot, Kim Jong-un exists and followed his father, and the world has not stopped it. They haven't done anything about it. There are many tyrants all over the place. I mean, we've got, who's that? The fucking Maduro, I think in Venezuela. You got that dude in Nicaragua. You got kind of all over. They may run under the radar for a while just because maybe they haven't shot anyone today. And the scarier thing is now, this is a philosophical question. In an age of social media and in an age where your ability to transact business and communicate with the world hang in the hands of organizations that can be swayed by governments, do you even need to kill millions of people anymore? Do you even need to kill millions of people anymore to become the tyrant, to destroy lives, to suppress opportunity, and to control narrative? You don't. That's the crazy thing. You don't need a Holocaust. You don't need a Holodomor. You do not need an Armenian genocide. Didn't go far. That's a joke. You do not need, Anna Kasparian is still here. You don't need these things anymore, because you can just implement social tools to constrict freedom in such a way that death is irrelevant because life is impossible. All right. Low Watermark says, bought today and trying now. Whistle Pig Piggyback 100% rye pot distilled using your review method. Real good so far. I do love the piggyback rye. It's great. It's very good. Hope you enjoy it, buddy. Great to see you. All right, here we go. Back to this. The judge found that Trump engaged in insurrection. Notice this is the subline, and this is one of the least important parts of this decision, but we'll get into that. But this is what everyone is clinging on to who does not like Trump. This is their thing. The judge found that Trump engaged in insurrection by inciting the January 6th riot, but said he could still appear on Colorado's primary ballot next year. So on to this. A Colorado judge on Friday dismissed an effort to keep former President Donald Trump off the state's ballot in 2024. Colorado District Court Judge Sarah B. Wallace issued a ruling in the Trump ballot eligibility case, ordering the Colorado Secretary of State to place Trump on the state's primary ballot for next year. Joe Neerman was watching this trial. I believe he suggested I watch part of it, but I haven't done that yet. Like maybe one of the arguments or the closing arguments, something like that. The ruling is another victory for Trump after courts in Minnesota and Michigan this month rejected similar legal efforts to disqualify him from running for president in those states. Now, interestingly, Trump is not an actual defendant in these cases. They don't sue Trump. They sue the Secretary of State because that is who they're saying is doing the wrong thing by putting him on the ballot. A group of Colorado voters filed a legal challenge to Trump's candidacy in September. So this is another interesting facet. If you guys remember, the Trump fraud lawsuits, the voter fraud lawsuits, these are all filed in state courts. And one of the reasons you're filing these in state courts is because it is against the state Secretary of State. But these are federal questions. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution being applied against a Secretary of State, I don't know that is a state issue or a state law issue. They're being treated that way for the purposes of these lawsuits. But the reason is a group of Colorado voters has no standing to raise this legal challenge in federal court if the federal courts are consistent in how they do things. They can't. They can't. The reason they can't is because there is, first of all, federal standing is stupid. Let's get that out of the way right now. The idea that you have to have a particularized grievance to bring a challenge, especially against the government, is dumb. Yes, you should have an injury sufficient to bring you or to give you a stake in a lawsuit. I shouldn't be able to sue you because of something you did to someone else unless that somehow directly impacts me, right? That makes sense. That's what standing is supposed to cover. But there's this rule called there is no generalized standing, which means if everyone is similarly situated, there cannot be standing because there is no particular injury that you can appeal to. So in the case of a voter, what makes you special about Trump being on a ballot? Nothing. You are the same as every other voter in Colorado because, first of all, you cannot presume how any other voter will vote. And second of all, you cannot presume how you will vote. Even if you assert that you intend to vote in a certain way, it hasn't happened. You don't have a particularized injury at that point. So Trump being on the ballot is the same to you as it is to everybody else. Now, you may not want him there. Other people may want him there. That seems to make you different, but you're not, because what you will do as a result of him being on the ballot is not an injury to you or to anyone else. So federal cases that were brought around these ideas by voters, particularly in these states around the election, they were all dismissed for lack of standing. You're the same as every other voter in your state. How can we say you have a particularized injury? Just because you don't like the outcome doesn't mean you have a particular injury. You're similarly situated to what happened. But listen to what that means. And think about this when you see that, oh, Trump lost every challenge to the voting or whatever. The federal courts literally said that if fraud occurred in 2020, the standing rule states that the fraud occurred to everyone equally, and therefore no voter has a right to sue on the grounds that they're a voter. That is batshit fucking insane. But that's what they actually say and mean. That's what they mean when they say there's no standing, no generalized standing. A voter, just like, and think about it this way. If there is an egregious tax policy that violates the Constitution for all taxpayers, a taxpayer cannot raise the lawsuit in federal court because they do not have a particularized injury. They can't under the standing rule because everyone is suffering the exact same injury, which means the problem is now political. That is fucking insane to think about. But that's what federal standing does. If you saw the show I had with Barnes the other day, where we were talking about how much he dislikes standing, that's one of the reasons that some lawyers dislike federal standing requirements. And again, standing requirements can make, the only standing requirement that makes sense was getting Rosa Parks' lazy ass up off the, I'm just kidding. Standing requirements make sense when we're not talking about bringing suit against a government or a government actor. They make sense in interpersonal lawsuits. If I'm filing a federal lawsuit against you, you should have hurt me in some way. But against the government, we can't do that. It's crazy to think the government can just fuck everybody over equally. It's like, well, too bad. Nope. So, that's why these are in state court, even though they probably shouldn't be. These are really federal questions. I mean, applying the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment through a Secretary of State by a Colorado state court is stupid. But hey, here we are. Wait a minute. All right, here we go. So yeah. They filed a legal challenge to Trump's candidacy in September, arguing that his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results, he never actually attempted to overturn the election results. This is a fucking thing that just cannot be stated enough. This is the zeitgeist meme narrative of the left. Trump tried to overturn the election results. Never, ever did Trump try to overturn election results. Election results are constitutionally finalized at inauguration, period. That's it. There's no other way around it. There is no possible way to say that an election result is being overturned unless the election result has actually constitutionally occurred. That happens typically January 21st with the transfer of power from from former president to new president, which went without a hitch with Donald Trump and Joe Biden. The election results themselves are not completed until then, because until then, theoretically, you have every right to raise legal and substantive challenges to those things. There are processes by which we challenge them that are written down. And of course, there are always novel ways to challenge anything in court should a court decide to take it up. And there have been elections in the past. We have precedent to say that having an election not actually completed on Inauguration Day is not a problem. Inauguration can be delayed for any number of reasons, including investigations of voter fraud. You do not have to buy into any narrative about 2020's election. It is not required for you to do so. You do have to understand that challenging any election to the maximum extent, other than literally causing violence, I guess, if you do that, I will argue to the death that Trump did not in any way do that. Or, well, at least they have not provided any evidence so far that he has. But you can challenge the election results up until the 21st, and they are not results until the 21st when it happens. They're just prospective results until that point. They are just a count. That count can be wrong, often has been. That count can be changed, often has been. The count can be fraudulent, has been. The count can be investigated, has been. The count can be challenged in courts, has been. All of these things have happened. They're all fine. They're all good. Overturning the election results would be to after Inauguration Day, then try to change the results, which is still not automatically illegal, but at least at that point, it's an attempt to overturn the results because the results have occurred. I just hate this semantic bullshit because people can say, oh, you're engaging in semantics. Yes, because that is the entire strategy that they're using as a semantic argument to try and state that this thing occurred in this way that is negative or more negative, but it's not. And his conduct surrounding the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot violated Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, making him ineligible for office. Again, this is what they're saying. In a ruling, Wallace found that Trump did engage in an insurrection by inciting a riot on January 6, 2021. Now, they're latching on to this. We're going to talk about this more, of course, but this is civil court. This is a civil court. And the entire argument that he did engage in an erection that she found, or an erection. Well, I did engage in an erection. Really was a wonderful erection, bigger than any other erection from any other candidate I've ever seen. Certainly bigger than Joe's, unless he's in a kindergarten, if you know what I mean. But my erection that I engaged in was quite wonderful. It was terrific. It ended in an explosive ceremony. People were celebrating, clapping. Melania was there. She was kind of watching, not really involved, but that's okay. This idea that he engaged in an insurrection is a finding in a civil court. Now, the big no-no of this finding, the biggest no-no of this finding is that she should never have reached this with her subsequent ruling. She should not have come to this finding at all. It is not a fully fleshed out factual scenario. She is in no position to find that he did engage in an insurrection in any official capacity. But since it's a civil court, she merely has to show they merely have to show by propensity of the evidence that basically 51% Trump did the thing that he's accused of doing. But it's not the important fight here. It's a trial court ruling in a Colorado state court. It carries no weight and no merit. And, well, it seems to be a bench trial. I guess the judge just decided that. So that's fun. But when we get to the rest of it, that Article 3 of the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to a president, then the finding is moot and meritless, even though that's what they want to hang on to. But let's get into it a little bit more. The president is not subject to Section 3 because he is not an officer of the United States. Now, you may remember a handsome lawyer from Minnesota and me also saying that this cannot apply to a president of the United States. And the reason is because it doesn't fucking say it. A president is not an officer of the United States. That's weird to think because you're like, oh, well, I mean, he's the president. That's an officer. Nope, it's not an officer of the United States. Certainly not under the 14th Amendment's meaning. And the reason we know this is because a congressman, a senator are not officers of the United States, nor are electors for president and vice president. If they meant to put the president and the vice president down, they would have. They would have. But they didn't need to. I will say they didn't need to because the insurrection, specifically that they were talking about, was only the Civil War and was not intended to carry further. That's a different question not addressed here. I'll say that. I think I'm right on that as well. I think that the list of people who are on the traitor list was fucking obvious and open and notorious, but people, this is an amendment that has stuck around. They didn't specifically limit it there, but I think that was the idea. That being said, he still didn't qualify because they didn't write president down. We'll get into why in a minute. But you may have heard me say this. That's because it's true. It's always been true, and it's silly to think that it wasn't true. Quote, while the court agrees that there are persuasive arguments on both sides, court holds that the absence of the president from the list of positions to which the amendment applies, combined with the fact that Section 3 specifies that the disqualifying oath is one to support the Constitution, whereas the presidential oath is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, Wallace wrote. This is, again, a weird way to like get to the obvious. You don't need to do this, but okay. But the reason the presidential oath is different has nothing to do with this article of the amendment. The reason that it's different is because the president and the vice president are different from literally everything. This has been a common and recurring theme on this show as we've talked about these things throughout most of this year. And the reason is because, for me, the reason I'm doing this is because it's a personal mission to recognize that no one is teaching fucking civics correctly at all. No one cares. They think the president is a bitch. But I got a question for you. Does he look like a bitch? Sometimes he does. Obama looked like a bitch. Biden looks like a bitch. Trump looks like a bitch from the back. Got that booty. But does he look like a bitch, though? He's the president. Even Biden, even Obama, these guys, they look like bitches, sure. They are not bitches. They wield the collective political will of 51+% of the country that is generally recognized as the global superpower to aim for. They are not weak little paper leaders when they don't want to be. That's the trick. When they don't want to be. Because when the presidents flex, the t-shirts of government rip every fucking time because the Constitution imbues them with immense power. It's only limited by the powers taken from the president and given to the judiciary and the legislature. That's it. Those are the powers that the president doesn't have, but he actually has all of the other power of the executive, which is of a king. He's limited and constrained to 4-year terms. He's constrained by the political will of the majority in the country. Well, really, the majority of electors selected by states. It ends up being roughly equivalent to a popular majority in the country. He's constrained to those things and those things only. But when the president wants to flex, he wins over and over and over. That's the crazy thing. Andrew Jackson, Supreme Court rules that Andrew Jackson's a piece of shit. Can't do what he wants to do. He says, well, let's see him try it. Try and stop me. Cool. Congress wants to bind the president. We don't authorize you to go to war. All right. I'll just send a police action over to Vietnam. Fuck you. They can do it. Ronald Reagan, you can't fire the FAA. Watch me. Watch me do it. Watch any president say, watch me do it. They win every fucking time because they're a goddamn king. And that's the wild, wild nature of it. He's dead, Jim says, except Trump, they wouldn't even let him scrap Obama's EOs. District court judges wouldn't. When Trump passed the district court, went to appeals courts and Supreme Courts, he won. But you know what? The fact that Trump didn't win those district court rulings and complied with those injunctions was political. This is what you have to understand about this. You have to understand this. When presidents bow to district court judges and even Supreme Court judges, they make the choice to do so. It is politically expedient for them to do so. Sometimes you want to garner outrage and disdain towards the corrupt system in favor of the person trying to work for the people's political will. And as weird as it sounds, sometimes you want to delay affecting that political will for the purpose of generating further public ire against the system, building your own social credibility, your own social credit, your own political capital to expend at a different time. Trump was really fucking good at this. He was really fucking good at this. When Trump tried to ban a bunch of Muslim countries from sending terrorists here specifically, right? 7 Muslim countries, specifically narrowly tailored. And the executive order that he wrote, well, someone wrote for him, cited specifically the Immigration and Naturalization Act and how you would do this, how one would engage in this particular activity that was authorized by Congress, even though they didn't need to have the authority to authorize a president to do this, because he's the sole organ of foreign relations. He had the power to do it anyway, but let's ignore that. Trump not only uses his own presidential power, he utilizes the wording Congress delegates in their role in the immigration and naturalization process from Article 1, Section 9, 8 or 9, that I believe, from the Constitution. They use their power. He's got his power. He's the maximum. He's at the zenith of political will, and he writes an executive order. One activist judge says, well, not on my watch, and tries to masturbate on a picture of Trump, but he just can't finish without looking at Biden licking a kid. So he didn't, but he wrote the ruling that said the executive order didn't apply. Trump challenges it, but in the meanwhile, as the challenge is pending, he revises and crafts down his thing. But he goes on a tirade. His press secretary, all the commentary class come out, talk about how crazy this judge is. This judge in Hawaii imposing bullshit on the entire country because of their own political activism. All of Trump's people adopt the narrative. All of Trump's people realize that the district court system is fucked and can handcuff a president. What does Trump do next? What does he do next? Have you noticed something that you're seeing a lot lately? When you see, Soy says next he loses the election. No. Faithless has it fucking nailed. Starts appointing judges. Watch as these rulings come in federal courts. Typically, you're going to see over and over a Trump appointee, a Trump appointee, a Trump appointee. That is because Obama was black and lazy. Obama had other stuff to do, had nothing to do with half of his race. Obama did not appoint federal judges. It was a huge deficiency and a massive missed opportunity in the Obama presidency. He did not just appoint judges. To my knowledge, I don't think Biden is either. Trump was banging judges out like babies in an African country. This motherfucker is dropping heat all over every district and appellate court you can find. He's sitting there Judge. There are so many fucking Trump appointed justices because I think Obama left a gap of somewhere like 989 unappointed positions when he left office. Trump had another 1,000 or so come in, but he appointed a shitload during the time. And now you've got Trump judges all over the place. But how did he do it? How did he get the Republicans in Congress? Let's not call them Republicans in Congress because they were not always good Republicans. The Republicans in Congress. How the fuck did he get them to do it? He got them to do it by raising ire against the district court level justice system of the federal courts and the appellate court level in the Ninth Circuit. That Trump fucking skull banged the Ninth Circuit's liberal bent, and all the while was appointing almost a conservative plurality on the Ninth Circuit. So now, if you go to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, it's like you got like a 1 in 3 chance of actually having a Republican majority panel or a conservative majority panel, where that was never the case. But Trump was hammering them out. How did he do it? He raised ire against the judiciary by biding his time, owning the loss, bowing to the deference of the court as a gentleman, and building the political will to get the fucking losers in Congress to approve every goddamn appointee he put in front of them. It was so fucking smart. It's the smartest thing Trump did because he did a lot of dumb bullshit. Do not make any like Trump did a lot of dumb shit, a lot of shit that I fucking hate. He did not pardon Snowden. He did not pardon Assange. He appointed dumb people. He went after this bump stock ban. He's done a bunch of dumb shit. Because he had bad people around him, but he's very smart on how to build capital, intangible capital, and expend it appropriately. He fucking nailed it. The judiciary, what he did to it is going to benefit us for a long time. And that's his true legacy. But he had to sometimes eat that L. He had to eat that L, but tell you why it was wrong. It's wrong that I have to eat this L. I don't even like L's. None of us should like L's. L's very halal. Haram. I don't even know which one it is. I don't speak camel, so I don't know what that is. I don't speak terrorist. I don't speak bomb chest. I don't speak camel. I don't speak sand negro. Is that a word? Sand negro? I think that's what the kids are calling them now. I don't speak dune smurf. I'm sorry. Dune smurf came out of my mouth. I've never heard dune smurf before in my life, but okay. He ate the L. He complained about it. We all got riled up. And then what did he do with it? He used it. Political capital. I like Dune Smurf. That was pretty fucking funny. Dude, guys, the best part about being insane and borderline retarded is that sometimes your brain will say something that you don't expect. You get to laugh. People are like, you laugh at your own jokes. Like, I'm not, that wasn't mine. Some other asshole came up with that. Oh. All right. Oh, we got to do this as, we'll do this in a second. We're going to do this as a celebration toast to Low Watermark. Low Watermark gifted 50 memberships to the channel. 50 memberships to the channel. Low Watermark, a sleeping Chad, a true Titan. Thank you so much. This is a little heavy on the shot rating, but we'll see if we can do it. We might have to do this in 1.5 sips. Because look, who am I? Piper Perry? I can only swallow so much. God, it's good. That is so fucking smooth going down. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should not be. It should not be smooth at all. It's really fucking good. Vix the low piece as a real man would have taken it. A real gay man, maybe. My throat constricts when liquid approaches. And then we got Jason of TGA says, I've been impressed that Trump goes around looking so indicted with all his criming around, and they haven't made anything stick yet. Worst communists ever. Yeah, that's the funny thing. I mentioned that a while ago. It's been an ongoing narrative. Trump is one of the most observed men on the planet, with one of the easiest histories for rampant crime. And they cannot make a single fucking thing stick. That's actually embarrassing, because they could take any one of you in the chat and make some crime stick. If they put the magnifying glass up to you like they do to Trump, they could probably make a crime stick. They can't do it with Trump, though. Which is crazy to think about. Like, how have you not gotten? I could grab any random wigga off the street and find tax crimes. They're white. They pay taxes. They got a tax crime somewhere. You can find anybody. Just grab a 9 from a club. She's got an Instagram. That bitch hasn't paid taxes. You can nail her harder than her subs. They can't get Trump. Squid Monkey says, given that you are a shill, and I love your show, but I'm outraged by your take on the plain English wording because it's true. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? And would you mix it with Jaeger? And a no BS answer, please. First of all, I don't drink Jaeger because I don't have a vagina and I am not under 23. So sorry, I don't drink Jaeger. I never have. I fucking hate it. I hate I shouldn't say I hate it. I've never drank. I hate the concept of it. I hate the smell of it. I hate the look of it. I hate the look people have when they drink it. And I hate when girls drink it because they're like, oh, look at me. I'm drinking hard liquor. And I'm like, hard? Bitch, that's 26% alcohol and mostly gay. Why would you drink that in the first place? That's like passing art class in middle school. You didn't try. You just showed up. I do not like it. I hate Jaeger. So I would never mix anything with Jaeger. My favorite ice cream flavors. There are 3. This is important. If you don't know, we'll get backstory here. I am lactose intolerant now. God has punished me for all of my transgressions. Oh, hey, motherfuckers. 6.2% body fat. Fuck y'all. Eat less. Work harder. That being said, I have 3 favorite ice cream flavors. God took ice cream away from me because I was a bad person. With lactose intolerance, it's really made me sad. My favorite ice cream flavor has not been available for a long time. It was a Breyer's ice cream flavor, and it was a golden Oreo cookie, or a golden Oreo cookies and cream, which was a mix of vanilla ice cream, sweet cream ice cream, and then golden Oreos blended in. It was so fucking good. If you don't know the difference between vanilla and sweet cream ice cream, there is a difference. Go to a Cold Stone. You can actually sample both of them. Sweet cream is just cream and sugar. Vanilla is cream, sugar, and vanilla. There is a little difference. It's amazing. The blend of them was obvious, notorious, and wonderful. Mixing golden Oreos in was peak Aryan brotherhood, and it should be celebrated. I miss her so much. I miss her so much. It hasn't been available for a long time. It was great. I almost want to bring some golden Oreos to a Cold Stone and make them do that mix. God, it was fucking good. Okay, that being said, that's no longer available. My 2 regulars are cookie dough ice cream and mint chocolate chip in equal measure. But the cookie dough I like, I'm trying to think, Kemp's in Minnesota. We don't have Bluebell because Minnesota is such a communist fucking wasteland. We won't have Bluebell. Bluebell cookie dough is really fucking legit. It's really good. Cookie dough ice cream here. There's a Kemp's natural, all natural, like ingredient cookie dough ice cream is phenomenal. Really quite good. That is a winner. The Breyers cookie dough is okay. The Kemp's one's better. There's some like Stone Ridge Creamery cookie dough's fantastic. Mint chocolate chip. I love all the mint chocolate chips. I like a lot of them. I like the Breyers one because it has peppermint versus peppermint spearmint blend. For special occasions, I like the Breyers one. It has a cool flavor in the mouth, but I love all mint chocolate chip. Those are my two favorite flavors. No, I would never put Jaeger in them because I don't hate myself. Because again, I'm not a 23-year-old or younger girl. Can't do it. What I really like though, and this will fuck everybody up, is a big bowl mint chocolate chip ice cream, whatever kind you like, whatever kind your thing. Then go get some chocolate chip cookie dough, fresh and like not frozen and hard. At Papa Murphy's, the take and bake pizza place, it's shitty. They'll sell you like a pound of cookie dough. Just get that. Scoop that into your mint chocolate chip ice cream. Add Thin Mints. Don't get them from Girl Scouts though. There's a Thin Mint equivalent that you can get at Aldi. Don't support Girl Scouts because don't support women. Not because of their abortion stance or whatever. Just don't support women at all. Hopefully those girls will learn that they shouldn't try in life. They should just do OnlyFans or Instagram or whatever. Because you can do a merit badge. You're getting merit badge and selling cookies. No, stop it. Your life is hopeless. Find a man. That being said, go to Aldi, get the Thin Mint equivalent. Break those up in there. Cookie dough in there. Mint chocolate chip already. Add a couple Hershey bars. Add a couple Reese's. And most importantly, add some Magic Shell. And what was the other thing you got to add? Pecans. You got to add pecans. Pecans, not walnuts. Sliced almonds are okay if you can't find pecans. Nick Yak says this guy really is an ass. Yeah. Yes. How have you not learned this? Oh my God. No, see, I'm not an ass though. Here's why I'm not an ass. Here's why. Don't add pistachios. Oh God. If you add pistachios, add bullets to your diet. Jesus Christ. Here's why I'm not an ass. I am honest. Always. Always. I will never lie to you. I will never misrepresent things to you. I will, to a fault, I will, to my own detriment, be honest to my opinion. I will tell you the thing that will make people. I called a Miss Universe woman fat and gross today. And people are like, any guy who's out there saying they wouldn't bang this chick's lying. Lying? Oh my God. You could not pay me to fuck that fat fucking hoe. Not a goddamn. First of all, she's from Nepal. She should self-immolate. Go free Nepal, bitch. But if she self-immolated, the ambient temperature of that city would raise to fucking Hiroshima levels. You cannot burn that much adipose tissue off. It's dangerous. Second of all, no, I will never, not once. I don't care what drought I'm in. I don't care if I'm the last man on earth. I will never. They're like, Nick, you need to propagate the entire human race. And I'm like, all right. Let's do this. And they parade out this chunky monkey. I will never fucking do it. Never. Oh my God. You know, Marines salute the president. My dick does not salute a fat chick. It can't happen. They have never been sexy to me. You would have to force feed me Viagra like I was on a hunger strike in Auschwitz. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. These guys are out there like, no, I totally banged that chick. Why? Where did your self-respect go? What hurt you? What hurt you? VWV says, show us a pic of this chick. I'm not going to show you a pic. I'm going to show you a video on Rumble in a little bit. We're not there yet. I'm still drinking. Arclight says, pot calling kiddo fat. No, this is something people misunderstand too. something people misunderstand too. I don't care what you look like for what your preferences are. If you're like if you're an internet super Chad, which means you're a literal one who's never been outside and you're like would not out of 10 to like Cindy Crawford in the 90s. Whatever you say, like I don't care. I don't care if you're a 400-pound dude and you look at a fucking supermodel, Victoria's Secret model, and you're like, nope, she's ugly, wouldn't do it. Cool. Your preferences are yours. I will never, ever tag a chick with that BMI. I won't do it. I won't do it. Can't make me. You can't shame me into it. I won't shame you into your opinions. Ever. I'll say they're wrong. They are objectively on this one. Look, if you want to take a 4 home from the club, take a 4 home from the club. Just don't call her Miss Universe. Unless you're going to make a galaxy joke about dropping asteroids in that ass. I'll respect it. I'll just disrespect you. That's all. I cannot do it. I can't do it. This chick is big and not in a great way. Kimbo Nice says you're not a man till you smash. Kimbo Nice. Dude, Kimbo, I got to do a local stream. What if it was to save Drex? He's dying. He's done. What's one more black dude burning on a cross to me? I don't care. You think I'm going to have sex with a fat chick to save Drex? That's like asking Drex to have sex with a black chick to save me. He won't do it. He never would. He never would. It's not a chance. What am I going to do? Lie to you? Oh yeah, she's gorgeous. What, like I'm a Dancing with the Stars judge? Oh God, I love how Lizzo get out there and owns the stage. She owns the stage because her gravity fucking collapses it onto herself. She didn't own anything. She didn't even have a credit score. Her weight is bigger than her credit score. You cannot, God damn it. I'm not even on Rumble yet. You can't do this to me. We cannot lie. We cannot lie to save people. Lying to save people is what brought us to now, where these chicks think they could just like, I don't need no man. You need a man just to hold your ass up when you walk down a fucking church aisle, bitch. And I know it's Southern Baptist where they got the extra wide aisles. It doesn't matter. You cannot do, you got, he's like behind her, like, God damn. You can't, you don't need a man. You don't need a man. You need a crane. You need a crane and some restraint. I'm fucking tired of this shit. It's kind of like, no, I would. Look, just because you're self-loathing does not mean any of us are. All right. Whiskey Horn, I can't see my shoes. Her shoes came in from Amazon, and so did the person who put them on. All right. Let's woo! Let's do this. If I can hate you locals, I see you guys constantly. I can't do it. I can't do it. That was the question about ice cream. Squid Monkey, I love you for that question. MacDevirus says Big Nick Energy shirts, just a pick of the nose. We're gonna get through this article. Are we gonna? Oh, shit! Look at all this article left. We're gonna go to Rumble. There's a lot of article left. We're gonna go to Rumble and do this. But first, I do have to do something. Guys. The show does have a sponsor today, of course, and we're gonna thank them. A big thank you to fieldofgreens.com. Look, Do not take the name literally. You're like, oh, fieldofgreens.com. The last person who took Field of Greens literally was Miss Nepal when she ate an entire field of greens. You don't have to do that. 1 10-gram scoop mixed with some liquid. Is there a definite amount? No. Whatever you need it to dissolve appropriately, the powder. It's 10 grams. Is it 10 ounces? Maybe. 12 ounces? Sure. 16 ounces? Fine. Add 4 ounces of liquor. Make your day start off great. Whatever you want to do. Field of Greens is not literal. Field of Greens is like Field of Dreams or whatever. If you grind it, they will eat. I don't know. They got a thing. Drink your vegetables and fruits. You know why you got to drink your vegetables and fruits? You don't want to eat your vegetables and fruits. You know why you don't want to eat your vegetables and fruits? Because it's bullshit. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes butter. It adds calories. And let's just say it. It adds faggotry to your diet. Do not do that to yourself. Why? Why would you eat broccoli when you could eat more steak? Think about that. Why would you eat broccoli when you could eat more? You're like, oh, well, I could eat some broccoli. Yeah, no, it's fine. But you could, instead of eating broccoli, have more steak. What would you want? Broccoli? Or would you want, oh, I can get more protein. I can get better fat to protein ratio, way lower fat to carb ratio and protein to carb ratio. I can get some other micronutrients. I can have higher salt content because the meat is cooked in, if it's cooked right, obviously it's cooked in salt. It's cooked in a good oil. The nutrients that you're adding are soluble in the oil. They're going to transfer better into your body. They're going to disperse out. They're not going to bloat you. They're not going to add gas. They're not going to add carbs and bullshit. Why would you do that? Why would you eat broccoli when you could eat more steak? Drink your broccoli later, along with all the other vegetables you don't want to eat. 1 10-gram scoop of Field of Greens in water is not juice. For the record, they say like, apple juice is a serving of fruit. It's not. Apple juice is a serving of corn syrup, which is delicious, and apple flavoring, also delicious. And they're like, oh, it's a serving of fruit. No. If you freeze dried an apple, ground it up into powder, put it in a drink, that would be a serving of fruit. That's what Field of Greens is. You dry the fruit, they grind it up, they put it into powder, they make a nice blend. It's 1 serving of fruit, 1 serving of vegetables. Actual fruit and vegetables. They don't add nutrition. They don't add supplements. They don't add bullshit. It's 1 serving of fruit and vegetables that is added to liquid, a liquid suspension. This is not a mixture. Don't you fucking at me on chemistry here. This is not a mixture. This is a suspension. This is not a chemical reaction. This does not create a new thing. This is shit delivered to you by water. They might as well grind it up and put it in a pill if they want. You know what's gay about pills? Everything. Swallowing solids, that's for women, not for you. You need to drink this thing. Get your fruit and vegetable in. Don't waste precious mouth, stomach, esophagus, and taste space on bullshit vegetables. Eat more steak. Eat more chicken. Eat more, lamb if you're a Muslim. Lamb and C4. What a great diet. I don't care what you do. Field of Greens is how you get your fruits and vegetables in. 1 serving of fruits and vegetables in each 10-gram scoop that you just suspend in any liquid. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be 10 ounces of vodka if you're Russian. But really, mix it with whatever you want. Find what you like. There's a bunch of flavors. They're great. One of them does have an antioxidant blend that's added in, and one of them does have a natural caffeine blend that's added in. Those are awesome too, but really just find the flavor you like. Get that nutrition in there so you don't have to cook and eat all this extra shit. Just takes up room in your stomach when you could be eating steak. You know what's great about steak? Do more push-ups. You know what's great about broccoli? Nothing. I actually like broccoli too. I would eat broccoli, but if I eat broccoli, that's 3 less bites of ribeye. Why would I want that in my life? Why do you want that in your life? Are you female? I don't think so because you're watching this show. Fieldofgreens.com, promo code knows. Save yourself some money. They have the biggest sale of the year. Save 30% with code BFCM23. I mean, I guess you could do that too. I don't care. But really, promo code knows is how you tell them you came from me and come for me. And it's great. They do have these lean pills. I'm supposed to mail these off to someone, Jarvis or something. Lean weight loss pills. People who have used these have reported good results. Maybe you hit a plateau in your weight loss journey. And that's not because someone called you a plateau because you're giant and flat like a fucking earth formation, but because you just stopped losing weight. It's definitely not because you're not trying hard enough. That couldn't be it. If you're hitting that plateau and you're trying so hard, get the lean pills. You take those. I don't know. Someone comes, it's really just a microchip, and Jews come in the night and start circumcising you. That 10% of your tiny penis doesn't do much, but then they start circumcising your ass and your stomach, and you lose a whole lot of weight really quickly. Try it out. That's fieldofgreens.com. Promo code knows. They will help you. You can get healthier. You can get thinner, and you can always be thinner. Candace Marie says, Nick, why would I need a serving of fruit when I watch your show every night? Girl, because you need 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day. I am not enough for you. That's why. All right. We're going to read the YouTube super chats. We're going to move over to Rumble, and then we're going to get offensive. Then we're going to get offensive. Nazir says, did Trump win the Gagging Fight Act? Yes. X says, okay, how would a lowly pleb such as myself actually bring an 18 U.S.C. 1983 lawsuit? Could it be done for Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, or Fifth Amendment purposes without getting jailed first? Yes, it can, but you need to have a particularized injury. We talked about the federal standing requirements. It's not so simple. A lot of people have generalized injuries under these things. They have to have a particularized one. It's usually better to get an organization to back you, though, because you're going to spend shitloads of money, and you will make yourself a target. Swedish Asylum Seeker says, you're like Howard Stern, as in you work 3 days a week. I felt really bad about only doing 3 shows last week. It was not the plan. Not the plan at all. Fucking made me mad. Slagla says, Nick, why are you drinking whiskey on stream? Don't you know that Warski will make fun of you over it? No, I don't know that at all. Is Warski making fun of me? That's too bad. I always liked Andy. When Andy got canceled by everybody, I think for lighting his nipple hair on fire and doing a bunch of cocaine, and he decided to come back and embrace the moniker, the retarded Phoenix, where he would rise again from the ashes. People may not know this. Andy Warski, I was the first show that he came back on for his quote unquote redemption arc. Same with my friend over at Popcorn Planet. What's his name? God damn it. I can't think of his name right now. Drinking too much. Why can't I think of Popcorn Planet guy? Signor, Andy Signor. 2 Andys. Andy Signor over at Popcorn Planet. I was the first show he did coming back from his weird Me Too cancellation. I love Andy Signor. I've always liked Warski. If he's decided to like come after me or criticize me or whatever, Warski, why? I don't know what his issue would be. Considering I've always been super nice to him. Everything I've done with him has been on the complete up and up. Recommended him. He was thinking of going after some crazy people. I can't talk about exactly what he was talking about doing because of various things, but he was really down bad for a while. He made a nice recovery. He's done very well, and I wish him tons of success. I don't know what Andy would be mad about. Remember when Andy and his friends were in Florida, I think it was, and the one guy had to like pull out the gun, defend himself against roided out angry Canadians. Everybody on the internet was making fun of them. There's one guy who's like, actually, no, No, actually, I think they're justified. I think the guy who pulled the gun was justified. Oh, that was me. That's right. That was me. There's one guy who actually stood up for Andy in that. Is he going to criticize me for drinking? Well, that'd be too bad. He can make fun of me over drinking all he wants. I don't care. Look, Andy's always been a decent dude. I like him. I don't know if he's been saying anything untoward or weird, but it's weird if he has, because I've always been on his side. I've never done anything bad to him. Adele says, Mr. Rackets, can we someday do a watch along of that Colorado lawyer's deposition? 20 minutes long. His name is Abrams. With your and some panel commentary on depositions, thought that could be fun. Oh, from this Trump case? Sure. That'd be fine. Jesus Villa gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Rich88 says, what's up with Minnesota? We're the fucking most communist state in the nation. Florida or California wishes they were as communist as us. Last voted rep for president was Republican for president was Nixon. Only state that didn't vote for Reagan. All the other states that were literal communists. Literal communists. Good Tom King says Anna Kasparian just implemented social tools to make sure the people she doesn't want to be heard won't be heard, just like Anna, that Star Wars girl. But does Anna, that Star Wars girl, have Anna Kasparian as Muhammad? Oh, look, Anna Kasparian was straight, trying to have sex with Cenk Uyghur until I drew Muhammad on her. Now she only has to have sex with 6-year-old girls. That is what Muhammad and Allah want. We've got Just Joyce's. Thanks for the laughs, Raggets. My pleasure. Resilient says Dune Smurf also sounds like Doom Smurf, which also works. I'll take it. Kate C, aka Snake Plush Kitten, says, thought Trump's crime was being an outsider. Now I think it's that idiots were sure they couldn't become POTUS. Then Trump did it. And they hate for proving they were cowards who couldn't try. Mactavius says, Big Nick Energy shirts, just big of the nose. We read that one. Happy Godflower says, I'm more offended about you versus pistachios than versus fat whales. I love pistachios. I just don't want them in ice cream. I'll eat pistachios all day. Just don't put them in ice cream. That's weird. Rael says, do a solid toast to anime boobs. Guys, at the end of my Sunday show on Twitch, we rated a smaller Twitch streamer. She's very cool. I don't remember what her Twitch channel. She changed it not too long ago. I don't remember what it is. She's great. You can go watch Twitch channel or whatever. And then someone, Robert Ford from my chat, sent some emojis with anime boobs, and she's like, very happy about some guy posting anime boobs as an emoji. She's like, how'd you get that approved? Blah, 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 blah. Here's the truth about anime boobs. Because they are drawn, because they're not influenced by chocolate, by laziness, or by whatever problems women have, they get to always be perfect. And they get to always be an inspiration for real girls to try and do better. You know why you can do better? Because we can imagine better and draw it. And it doesn't even take a good genius to draw it. You don't need a Rembrandt. You don't need a Da Vinci. You don't need a Michelangelo, a Raphael, even a retarded Donatello. You just need anybody who can go. Anybody who can draw a shitty W can make boobs better than yours, which means you can make boobs better than you have if only you work at it. Ladies, anime boobs exist to remind you that you are expendable, disposable, and that you can try harder to get our attention. Otherwise, we will look at what men draw instead of what you do. Cheers to anime boobs. May they always be luscious. May their physics always be bouncy. And may their mechanics never be questioned by the woke left. Next. Squid Monkey says, but was she 4'3"? Chunkalicious. She's just, I don't like her. She's just fat. Happy Godflower says, you versus fat whales, meh. You versus pistachios, it's war. I like pistachios. I'll eat pistachios. So why would you put them in ice cream? Why would you do that? Jesus Davila says, Nick, can we get a toast for the YouTube, Rumble, and Locals chats, but in Kermit? Hey there, Locals chat, Rumble chat, and also the people still wallowing in YouTube chat. May you always find what you're looking for. And if you're on YouTube, clearly you're looking for men. Cheers to you, but that's none of my business. Maybe you should go back where you came from, Negroes. Aisha Frazier says, Screech, Drunkita, white bread, and got a favorite label. Nope. I love all labels, all of them, especially the offensive one. Darth Bender says, still waiting for a painting stream. I know. I'm not going to bore you guys with the details. It's been something lately. All right, here we go. Let me go over to Rumble. Thank you guys for hanging out. We're going to have a 25-second Rumble transition. We'll see you over there. If you're not a Rumble watcher, like if you don't transition over to Rumble, why do you hate yourself? Actually, why do you hate yourself? Guys, get on Rumble. If I can change everything, the one thing I will change will be most streams will be Rumble exclusive, period. Not a YouTube start and a Rumble transition. They will be Rumble only. And YouTube will be reserved for short videos, regular videos, shorts, and the few trial live streams that I will end up doing. Rumble will be the normal show. Get accustomed to it because Rumble is coming and YouTube is coming out of the closet. You want ads imposed? YouTube is one step away from forcing me to have ads on the live show. They're trying now. YouTube is trying now I have to go in and unselect the ads for you guys right now. If it were up to YouTube, if I were lazier, and I'm pretty fucking lazy, every time I make a show, I have to go into monetization. I have to go in and say, during my live show, not the replay, not the video on demand, during my live show, I don't want my viewers to be taken away from my show to watch an ad. YouTube wants that for you. YouTube is trying to do that while you're watching live. I don't mind on a replay. Live, never take my audience away live. Never make them miss a joke about fat women live. Never, ever make them miss me embarrassing myself live. Why would you do that? YouTube wants to do that. If you're not on Rumble, if you are not part of the fight, that's fine. You don't have to be. No one is making you do these things. Get over there soon, though, because when I have my way, there will not be a YouTube transition. I hate it. I would just rather do the show on Rumble, or if I'm going to do a show on Rumble and YouTube because it's a trial or something like that, I'd rather do the whole fucking thing on both platforms. I do not like this part. It was not my choice. Never was. It's been useful. It has brought people to Rumble. I love that. But it's not going to last forever. If I have my way, it's going to be done in January. Maybe it'll be done after January. I don't know. Get over to Rumble. Start watching alternatives. Stop paying attention to Google. Google is an faggot. And they hate you. They just want your data. Rumble just wants to give you data. See you over on Rumble, guys. Peace. Peace.